Here's my riding partner Duke again with us. We're on a short little morning day trip down to the Aqueduct with my sister and brother-in-law. Just like a 4-mile out and back. We were planning on a 30-mile ride down to the other end of this canal, towards the other end of this canal today, but it looks like a wall cloud, and unless that's coming at us or going away from us, I suspect we're going to get wet sometime soon. Hopefully we can ride it out. Well, I'm going to videotape this because it took us a little while to figure out exactly how the apparatus works, but amazingly, 100 years old, this apparatus still does work. This is what was used to open and close the lock. To Lucas's left is a roller on the ground. Step on that, Lucas, and show that. All this stuff still works. But that roller still rolls there. There's obviously a rope hooked into that eye hook there that went through that bottom pulley and then under that bottom pulley on the right and then up around that geared pulley in like a serpentine belt kind of pattern. Roll all three of those. All of these still, these things are ancient. That one frozen?
That one frozen.
And then it went out and it hooked to that other eye hook at the other end. And then depending on which way you turned this apparatus, it either made this move to the left to open it or made it move back to the right to close it. It's pretty cool. These locks are pretty amazing though. They're made out of wood. Everything. I thought they would be cement down there, but they're starting to fall apart now. But again, they sat here for 100 years before they fell apart. Pretty interesting place. This is our base camp for the weekend. We are at Geneseo Campgrounds. I don't actually know the address. I know they have a... we found them on Google. They might have a Facebook page. They're in Geneseo, Illinois. I think that's Highway 82 out there. This is a beautiful, beautiful campground. It's quiet. It's off the road. The bathrooms down here are almost ridiculously clean. They have a little store in there that sells all the normal stuff you'd see at a campgrounds, but it's not at inflated prices. It's actually cheap, and they have food in there. I mean, I can't even say enough about this campground. This is a beautiful place. This is where we're going to be staying for the weekend while we take these rides. All right, here's our ride for the day. It's Saturday, June 22nd. Nancy and Dana were kind enough to drop us off at the Hennepin Canal Visitor Center just outside of and northeast of Sheffield. From here, it should be about 25 miles back to where we were camped. We're going to give it a try. Otherwise, Dana's been kind enough to volunteer to come and get us if we have to call him on the cell phone. We'll get some video along the way and see how it turns out. We're not very far in. We're only about 3 miles into this trail, but I just want to get a picture of this. This amazes me. We're in an awfully rural section of Illinois here. This is cornfield for as far as the eye can see. I'm guessing that horizon is 10 miles long. And there is literally nothing to hear except the sounds of nature. I haven't heard anything this quiet since 1965. You know, this is a nice trail that has the potential to be an amazing trail, but it's littered with areas just like this. And we're basically riding along the trail. Saw a sign up there that said caution and came to a place where this trail has just been reclaimed by nature. For the last half mile or so, we've been riding on something that was more mountain bike trail than trail. So make sure you check out the map of the section you're going to do, because some of it isn't really rideable by these kind of bikes anymore. These kind of bikes are not meant for what we're doing here. Now the one thing this canal does have, if you're a fan of turtles, it has turtles. There's a turtle. We've been seeing turtles all day long. Hundreds of them along here. We didn't even realize when it was happening. We came from over there, where you can see that bridge. It came along it brought us up to the left side of that bridge, and it had us cross over to the right side and follow the canal trail along there. And man, that is really rough. That is mountain bike territory. But about a half mile up, when we got to the next bridge, I saw there's a sign that says the trail continues on, but there was a U-turn shaped sign that said this trail right here connects in too. And this is actually the place where the feeder canal coming south out of Sterling Rock Falls connects into the Hennepin Canal. We are about 6 miles Which direction is that? West of the visitor center where we started out.
10%.
You'll notice it's a big fork in the road is what it looks like. Big watery fork in the road. It's where the feeder canal comes in. Alright, we've made it as far as Aqueduct number 4 at mile 30.7, and I'm not going to lie to you, this is getting a little bit sketchy. This doesn't look so bad behind me, but from about a mile west of where the feeder canal came in to right here, this has been nothing but. This is seriously mountain bike trail. Beyond this curve right here, it's nothing but little, like a one tire wide gravel path with weeds growing all around. You can barely see the gravel you're riding through on some points. This is not for this part. This trail is definitely not for the faint of heart. If I'd have known it was going to be this bad, we'd have brought the mountain bikes and planned a lot shorter a trip. But we are at another one of these aqueducts, and these are kind of cool. Fascinating that they build a canal over top of a canal. I don't know what that creek down there is that they're trying to go over, but here's our second aqueduct. Hopefully there's our next bridge. We've been going through 2 miles of this, literally just one lane path that's barely passable for horses for a couple of miles now. Hopefully, usually these things change right at these bridges where you cross over. Hopefully this turns into a better trail, or we might be in some trouble here soon. Okay, here we are, we're at Aqueduct number 5, crossing Mud Creek. It's like the rest of them, just a channel that carries this thing over a channel. I'm assuming at one time Mud Creek was an actual creek. It has long since been turned into a modern flood-controlled canal. Once you clear the banks, you can see this thing goes in a straight line forever, just draining the high-yield corn belt down here in Illinois. Unfortunately, the trail did improve. It has improved. But unfortunately, right after I got done talking about how quiet it was, we picked up that. That's Interstate 80 going east-west across the state of Illinois. And we've been following that for the last probably 10 miles. We're not usually this close to it, but you can still hear, off in your distance, you can still hear the thing. Kind of a din of road noise. But the trail has improved, so things are looking up. The weather is looking like it's going south on us, though. So hopefully, we got about 14 miles left to go. Hopefully we'll get there before it starts raining, because you can almost smell the rain in the air. There's a storm coming. Now here's something I haven't seen in 40 years. That is an actual road bridge. The last one of them I saw in operation was probably 1965. I thought the trail went up and over that bridge. It did at the visitor center, but this is like a four-wheeler trail. Takes you up to a road, and that bridge actually takes you across. But again, this is definitely mountain bike trail here. We just came through that section there, and one-lane gravel path for most of it. And unfortunately, we are now right up against the freeway. You can probably, if a big truck would go by, you'd be able to see it. There goes a car by. We're not a half a mile from the freeway. So this is getting, hopefully we'll cut away from this, but it's getting kind of annoying because this has gone on for like 11 miles now. Okay, thankfully I stand corrected. We decided to follow this semi-mowed, it looks like it's been mowed sometime this year, path that led up to what I thought was a road going over on this bridge, but it's actually not a road. This is a gravel path at the end of that gravel road right down there is actually supposed to be a trailhead onto this canal path somehow. And it leads to this ancient bridge on some road that's long been closed, because again, there's the freeway right there. But luckily this is just here for looks. I was a little worried about the fact that they might have one of these bridges still in service down here. It's pretty picturesque. If the trail were a little better maintained and it wasn't so close to that freeway, this would be a beautiful little ride right through here. Man, I can't even begin to tell you how rural this is, but there's that bridge. You get to that just up this one-lane gravel path. It cuts right through the middle. That's nothing but 2 cornfields. And I don't know, that looks like a crossroad down there. I don't know how you're supposed to get to this place. But it is. There's a lockbox here. It is a legitimate trailhead onto this trail. And it looks like it's been mowed sometime in the last few months, at least this year. And it's used because some dirtbag left his beer can or soda can there recently. This redefines rustic. Alright, now this is more like it. We lost the freeway about 2 miles back. And now we are in nothing but bucolic farmland here. It's flat, you can see for miles, and it is just dead quiet but for the sound of the birds and the sound of the wind. I think that's a water tower. There's a town off on the horizon. Not one peep out of the freeway. And the trail is still a little sketchy, but it's turned back into a semi-macadam kind of surface, so it's a decent ride. This is a beautiful part of the trail here. We're at about mile... I think the last mile marker we passed said 40.4 or something like that. And suddenly this is the perfect ride. It's beautiful and quiet. Here we are at Aqueduct number 6 at mile 43.5. We're about 4.5 miles from our destination. My man Lucas down there had to take a sit and rest for a while. His, like me, his legs will go a lot farther than his butt will go. We're about 26.5 miles into today's ride, and his butt has pretty much had it with this thing. 4.5 miles left to go. A dirty little secret. He's wondering how a guy my age can go this far, not have the same problem. But what I didn't tell him, I'm wearing a pair of padded riding shorts underneath my outer shorts. I guess he'll find that out when he reads or watches this video on YouTube. But this is another one of them aqueducts. These are in amazing shape for being 100 years old. Obviously the railing is fairly new, but I'm sure the aqueduct superstructure itself is plenty old. I didn't even see a name for a creek that this thing is channeling. It's kind of the same thing. Another aqueduct through Bucolic Farm. The trail is still just okay. It's more than passable. It's not all that great for riding two abreast, but it's more than passable. And we've been far away from that interstate for a long time now, so it's just a perfect little ride. Beautiful. And we've got just a slight wind, maybe 7-10 miles an hour. It's not at our back, but it's at our side and off our right shoulder, so helping us along and keeping us cool. And the sun has been kind of nice. They told us today would be 92 degrees and sunny, so I was a little worried about making this ride, but we haven't seen the sun all day long. It's hazy, and it's warm, but it's not hot. Not at all. This last 4.5 miles should be a perfect ride. Well, we've made it. We're back at our lock and dam. We're only about a half a mile from our campgrounds now. We made it to the end, didn't we, bud? Huh? And we just noticed this plaque here, so a shout out to Heath Dornfeld for this project that he completed in June 2nd of 2003 for his Eagle Scout BSA Troop 100. Heath, it's still standing. It's still doing its job. And there we go. We made it back to base camp. Our crew didn't have to come save us.
Let me get on that bicycle and say, yeah, even Uncle Doug made it.
Today's tally was... we at 32.9, I think that says. It's a good ride. Good ride. Trailhead, it's sketchy parts, but all in all, I'd say that section was pretty good.